I am joined with the lovely, the fantastic, awesome Margaret Kimberley. Margaret Kimberley, she is senior columnist and editor for Black Agenda Report, author of Presidential, Black America, and the Presidents. Margaret Kimberley, welcome to the show. How you doing today? You doing all right?
I'm doing good, thanks.
I have just finished an angry rant about this idea that Netanyahu is saying the quiet part out loud, effectively saying, hey, you people can voluntarily deport. We're not hiding this anymore. This is the plan. We can talk about it. It's like, okay, how are we going to have a conversation about you killing me and me being forced out under the guise of voluntary deportation? Um, it's upsetting, that's all. And the notion that our government is effectively paying for this is outrageous to me. But
well, it is. Thank you so much. It's I always remind people this did not start with Trump. This U.S. Backing of genocide began with Biden, and Trump is.
Let's dig into that. Let's dig into that. I'm glad we start here. All right, liberals have been screaming that Donald Trump is an anomaly. You've had a lot of people who've been online who said Donald Trump is super grotesque. I'm one of those people who says grotesque. But I don't think he's an anomaly, though. Give me your take on this. Is he the fullest expression of, let's say, a Republican? Is he the fullest expression? Give me your take on Trump. You wrote the book on presidents in Black America. Give me your take.
Well, my take on Trump is that he is somewhat of an aberration, but not completely. So he is trying to radically reshape government. He has majorities in both houses of Congress. He is ruling, though, and it is rule, it's not governing, by executive order. Presidents have, yes, the power of executive orders, but they can't do everything by executive order. So he's dismantling agencies that Department of Education, USAID, that were created by Congress. And if Congress votes to dismantle them, that's the only way it should happen. But he's giving the full expression of every right-wing fantasy, from getting rid of the Department of Education to doing away with the veneer of USAID. Yes, it has been involved in these regime change plots, but that's because it's a charitable agency, provides aid, food aid, and other aid to people all over the world, which made it a good cover for the regime change plots. However, getting rid of it means there's suffering in many parts of the world, but he doesn't care. He's also, there's an element of revenge for all those, the criminal cases that he went through after he left office. That's why he attacked the law firm of Paul Weiss, a former partner, not even a partner at the time, was involved in his prosecution. So he takes revenge on Paul Weiss, and they knuckle under, and Columbia University knuckled under. So you can say everything negative about Trump. I'm not going to argue against it. But we see the liberal order giving into him completely. So then how much of an aberration is he if these allegedly if big law firms and Ivy League schools do whatever he wants them to do? So that's my take in general about Trump and how different he is. As for this situation in Gaza, it's just horrible. After Israel murders emergency workers, and actually it's not the first time they've done that. And the little girl Hind Rajab, who was killed with her family, they killed the aid workers who came to save her. And I could go on. They're not the only one. This is not the first time this has happened.
No.
But it began with Biden giving Israel everything it wanted, being committed to this genocide. He is carrying on Biden's legacy. And as far as them saying, yeah, this is ethnic cleansing, well, duh, dare I say. But this is a message to Jordan and Egypt, U.S. client states who so far have refused. They have said they want 2 million people to leave Gaza. Both Egypt and Jordan have said no. It's going to disrupt their societies to have 1 million people suddenly show up who will radicalize their populations. These a lot of these Arab countries do openly or covertly do business with Israel. Their people don't want it, though. So you have these, turncoat leaders, but their people don't want it. And to have Gazans show up and expose the treachery of these countries is something they can't take a chance on. So this is to pressure them into taking people. If you don't take them in, we're going to kill everybody. Quickly or slowly, we're going to do that. That's Israel's message, and that's Trump's message as well. And this was bipartisan. So it's easy for people to just point at Trump and say, oh, this is so evil, this is so terrible. Biden sent billions of dollars to help Israel commit ethnic cleansing, and it was completely bipartisan. So in this regard, Trump is no different.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I want to go to the universities for a bit. Columbia University, as you pointed out, just knuckled under. And I think it was John Hopkins that effectively told their staff, hey, if agents come in, don't help anybody, don't hide anybody, don't try to let anybody go. Just, cower down and let them do it.
Yep.
The level of cowardice in these organizations is astonishing. And I think about, and no, I'm not comparing this to Nazi Germany, but I'm going to compare it to Nazi Germany a bit. You wonder how institutions effectively dealt with a rabid government that was breaching authority. In this case, Donald Trump is pushing presidential power and authority to the max in a way that I've never seen, right? And the universities and institutions that you think would be like, no, we're going to let our kids protest. It's a college campus. Of course they have the right to do that. Or John Hopkins, no, we're not going to let you disappear people like you were doing, sending these people to El Salvador when they weren't even from El Salvador. We're not going to involve our people in that for whatever random reason that you come up with. Instead, they bow their heads. They bow their heads. They just bend the knee, do whatever you need to do. That is amazing to me.
Well, I think about Columbia. I don't know about Johns Hopkins, but Columbia, I've seen figures of $13 billion, $14 billion endowment. What is it for? It's a big landowner in Manhattan. All the property around Columbia University, billions of dollars in property, is owned by Columbia. It's a deep-pocketed institution. If anyone could afford to take Trump on, it was them. So he took $400 million. They could have replaced it. But, as someone says, these colleges are hedge funds with education as a side hustle. I wish I could credit whoever said that. But of course, they've proven it to be true. So we see the liberal order has been exposed little by little in the acquiescence to this genocide. And then when they are we saw it with Columbia last year when the city of New York, the NYPD came and arrested student, and one officer shot his gun, apparently accidentally, but could have killed someone. They didn't say anything to Eric Adams, the mayor, to his administration. They said nothing, absolutely nothing. So they have been giving in. And now when you have someone like Trump who comes in with the sledgehammer, they just they're continuing what they had been doing in this regard. So we see that we're on our own. Big law firms, fancy schmancy colleges, they all give in. These federal judges who, I don't know what this guy Boasberg is waiting for. His questions imply that he knows the administration lied to him about taking people, these Venezuelans, to El Salvador. He said, you can't take them out, and they did. We've seen other instances. A student at Tufts University in Massachusetts, who there's a video of her being snatched off the street by ICE officers. And the judge said, don't take her out of Massachusetts. Well, they did. And there's no price to pay. So these judges are afraid to be, somebody's got to be the first one to cite somebody in the Trump administration for contempt of court, but nobody wants to be the first one. And so we see the system exposed for what it is. And however people resist and respond, it has to be with the knowledge that it's us. It's just us.
Yeah. I think those judges realize that they don't have a military, they don't have a police force. Mm-hmm. And under normal circumstances, what they're effectively functioning under is that people would fall in line because it's a court. And what happens when the administration just says, I don't care? What do they do? It's that part. What do they do? If Trump just says, I'm sending them out the country anyway, do you? And the judge says, I'm holding you in contempt. Okay. So what?
But they haven't even done that. And somebody needs to take that chance and do it and see what happens. But no one, they're afraid. Everybody's afraid. And these federal judges have lifetime appointments. That's why they have lifetime appointments. Mm-hmm. So that was the idea behind it. So they wouldn't be beholden to a political party or be afraid to make unpopular rulings. And that can be good or bad, depending on your feelings about how they decide things. But he can't be fired. They can threaten him with impeachment, but the Chief Justice Roberts already told the Trump administration stop talking about impeaching judges. So they can't do that, but somebody's got to be the brave one. And nobody wants to be the brave one. And this is what I've been saying, this Hitler comparison. And I always say, if you have a weak liberal class, then you have fascism. And we're seeing it. And if Trump is a dictator, if he's a Hitler-like character, then what is Colombia? Then what is Paul Weiss? What are they? If he's Hitler, then aren't they Nazis? I mean, if you really want to use that comparison, that analogy, then you have to say that they are the same.
Speaking of that, this came up. Now, I don't know how serious he is about this, but I am going to play it just because it is getting airplay, and I want to get your take on it. This is a bit rich, considering it was Republicans that led the charge in order to keep FDR off the ballot. Meaning, when FDR died in office, they were like, okay, no mas, no more. Are we going to live in this situation where a dominant president is able to stay in power for this long? And then Trump comes out and says this.
Story, I know it's hypothetical right now, but if you were allowed for some reason to run for a third term, is there a thought that the Democrats could try to run Barack Obama against you?
I'd love that.
For his third term?
Boy, I'd love that. That would be a good one. I'd like that. No, people are asking me to run, and there's a whole story about running for a third term. I don't know. I never looked into it. They do say there's a way you can do it, but I don't know about that. But I have not looked into it. I want to do a fantastic job. We have 4 years, just about, almost close to 4 years. Time is flying, but it's still close to 4 years. And we're getting a lot of credit for having done a great job in the first almost 100 days. And we have some big things we're going to be announcing over the next 2 days that you know very well, Peter. And I think it's going to be something that's going to bring a lot of wealth back to our country, tremendous wealth back to our country, actually. And
I have no idea what he's talking about. Trump has been tanking the economy ever since. He has been putting in tariffs and everything else. And I know the tariffs are supposed to go into effect a few days. The markets are freaked out and terrified. You have other countries are like, oh, God, he's going to do this. And even getting to the point of saying, hey, you realize cars are going to be more expensive. I don't care. I don't care.
Tariffs are a tax. I mean, if you don't understand anything else, it's a tax. So if there's a tariff on a foreign car, you are paying more for the car or for anything else. And every time he talks about tariffs, as you said, the market tanks and it goes up if he backs off. So he's a legend in his own mind. Everything's terrific. The economy is going great. Everything's fine. But I want to say this about him running for a third term or anything else. Everything's legal if no one does anything.
Yes.
Then in effect, it's
Yes.
legal.
Very true. Like, unless somebody says, hey, no, you can't do that, then it's allowed. I always say power is taken, right? If
It
nobody
is.
does anything about the fact that you've taken power, you've taken power.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's
yeah.
he's accruing a lot of power in that administration. I think Obama would beat the stuffing out of him. I could be wrong.
The question is, does Obama want to be president again? I mean, Trump's the only person who wants to be president a second time after everything he went through. But he's such a maniac. It's like nobody else, Obama's chilling, making lots of money, giving speeches, getting paid to do very little, having the time of his life. Does he really want to run for president again?
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I mean, and then for them to bring up, hey, would you like to run against Obama? I think other Republicans know that Obama would be the stuffing out of Trump. Trump would be like, what, 85, 86? I mean, like, age. He doesn't look like the age is wearing on him now, even though there are some clips I can play where he seems to be out of his mind. I get this, Obama will beat the stuffing out of him. But to your point, I don't know if Obama would even want to be president again. And yet,
does he want to be? But this also shows you the failure of the Democratic Party, that they had nobody waiting in the wings, that they let Joe Biden try to run again. The fact that Trump is president is the fault of the Democratic Party, 100%. Grandpa wouldn't give up the keys.
Oh,
and
I got a clip for you. Clip for you. All right, so I found this clip. This clip is I did an entire thing on it because it's fascinating to me, and I want to get your take on it. So this goes into how Harris ended up being the nominee and the political intrigue that was taking place behind the scenes as she was being decided, or as it was being decided. It's a little bit long. I'm going to let it play out just a little bit, but I want to get your take on it afterwards. Clyburn, the Black Whisperer, got involved. Let's play it out.
John, give me the play-by-play of that conversation between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris when he tells her that he's dropping out of the race.
Biden calls Jim Clyburn, who's in South Carolina, I believe celebrating his birthday, and tells him and says, listen, I've got a statement, I'm going to get out. And he reads the statement, and Clyburn goes, there's a problem with your statement. Biden's like, what is it? And he goes, you don't mention Kamala Harris, you're going to have to endorse her. And Biden says, well, yeah, I'm going to leave I'll eventually endorse her, but I'm going to leave my statement as is. And Clyburn's like freaking out. He's like, I don't know what to do. He wants to be able to endorse Kamala Harris himself immediately. He needs Biden to get out of the race before he can do that. He's got a 5:30 p.m. phone call set up with Barack Obama. He knows Obama's going to push him to support this, this contested primary open convention idea. And he wants to be able to tell Obama to go pound sand. So in order to do that, he has to have already endorsed Harris himself. So ultimately, that's what Clyburn does, and it's ultimately what Biden does. Biden puts out the first statement, then about half an hour later, he puts out the second statement, launching the Harris campaign's effort to lock down all these delegates. And then Clyburn gets on the phone with Obama at 5:30 p.m. and says, Mr. President, I have already endorsed Kamala Harris. You need to get behind the vice president. It has to be her. And then their phone call lasts less than a minute, helping foil Barack Obama's plans to have this open convention. Like a wild day, never reported at the time that Harris was ready to launch that whip operation, never reported at the time that she had to beg Joe Biden to issue an endorsement the same day. If he doesn't do it, disaster for her.
I was always wondering what happened between that half hour.
That is amazing. Just
what's funny to me? All these people who said Black people are demanding that Harris be the one. I do not feel ever that there was that kind of loyalty among Black people for Kamala Harris.
Agreed.
I never thought that was true. And then for these people to say you have to pick her, I mean, I want to say something else. Did you notice at Jimmy Carter's funeral and at the inaugural, Biden and Obama did not speak? It's something that
They were angry. Biden
Oh,
was
sure.
angry.
Yes, he's mad that they pushed him out, and then they pushed him out and she lost. So he feels vindicated. See, I told you should have left me in. Although I still think he would have lost to Trump. The question was like, who was going to lose to Trump, Biden or Harris?
Yeah.
But they knew Biden shouldn't have run again. His even before the debate debacle, his approval ratings were in the basement. They weren't even 50%. That means you can't run again. But he didn't want to go. And I'm sure it had been mentioned to him before. People like David Axelrod were very public, like a year before Election Day. We don't have much time. The president should decide if this is what's best for the country. But Joe wasn't having it. He was saying, I'm not going.
Yep.
And then he ruined it for everybody.
Well, Clyburn ruined it for everybody.
Yes,
because
he
if
did.
you remember, Obama apparently was like, we want to have a brokered convention, meaning we want to fight this out at the DNC convention. I think Nancy Pelosi was like, we want to fight this out at the DNC convention. Clyburn was like, I'm the one that got Joe Biden to choose Kamala Harris. I want Kamala Harris. I need Joe Biden to back her before I talk to Obama because Obama is going to push for a brokered convention. So Clyburn, if he's right, Clyburn knew that Obama wanted a brokered convention. And he needed to get Joe Biden on his side before he talked to Obama so he could tell Obama it's a done deal. It's already going to be Harris. And he pushes Joe Biden, who didn't have Kamala Harris in his statement. That is amazing. Not only did Clyburn give us Kamala Harris in regards to the vice president, Clyburn was instrumental in getting her to run as president behind the scenes.
And I don't know. And the other thing, I never understood what people saw in her. All I saw was the word salad lady. She couldn't put two sentences together. And I always thought it was very funny. Politicians tend to be very glib and can talk off the cuff easily. And she never, when they first got into office and she was vice president, I said, well, maybe a little time she'll get her feet wet and she never got any better. And I never was impressed. I didn't understand why anybody else was impressed. I think it was the idea of a woman being president, of a biracial woman being president. I guess it was part of the liberal lore, something they were in love with. The rest of the country wasn't, of course. And so I just, this debacle, I wasn't aware of Clyburn's role, but Clyburn, he was a phony kingmaker. That's the other thing. People had always talked about he was this kingmaker, and anybody he endorsed would win the South Carolina primary and blah blah. He's a Democratic Party insider. He endorsed people if they were already the choice of the Democratic Party establishment. And so this idea that he had to get clearance from Clyburn, of all people, Mr. Big Pharma, the man who had got more money from Big Pharma than anyone else in Congress. And it tells you a lot about the failure of Black politics, that this party hack was seen as some kind of a leader, and in the end helped lead the Democratic Party to
ruin. Complete ruin. I mean, because they don't have any political opposition to anything Donald Trump is doing. There's nothing moving in order to push back. I mean, Trump is effectively acting completely unopposed. He's bombing Yemen unopposed. He is destroying Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid unopposed in a de facto way by effectively gutting the workforce. Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., again, destroying it unopposed. There is no political opposition coming out of the Democratic Party that I can see. Sanders is a lone man running around getting 50,000 people. But so what? It's so what?
Well, what is he doing, though? What are he and AOC doing? They're trying to sheepdog again, trying to herd leftish Democrats back into the party fold. And for what? We have James Carville saying Democrats should do nothing, which he didn't need to say because they didn't plan to do anything anyhow. So they're hoping to hang on until the midterms and they'll win Congress back. But if you have a president ruling by executive order, it doesn't matter if you have control of the House. So what?
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
And none of them are, and people are looking at them hoping for them to say something. I mean, the only people, some of these Democratic Party attorney generals are filing lawsuits. Who knows how that will work out? But we've seen them ignore judges' orders. So what will that mean? So they're just hoping that Trump actually ruins the country enough that they will win by default. I actually think that's it. And as far as Yemen and other things, I never stand up to presidents. Every president bomb Libya, bomb Yemen, bomb this place, bomb that place. They don't care. They, there's, I think the last declaration actually of a war, was it World War II? Everything else, Congress either, sometimes they have a vote for Iraq or, something phony, the Gulf of Tonkin resolution, but they don't even do that anymore. Presidents just do what they want around the world.
Yeah, they were authorization military force for Iraq, and Obama interpreted the bomb Syria and pretty much everywhere else in the Middle East that he wanted to, Syria, Libya, etc., without any hedge associated with it. People are like, wait a minute, this is Iraq. How are you doing this to these other countries? It's just wild to me.
The thing to me is I find most interesting about Trump is he's treating his own voters just as badly as the people who opposed him.
Yes.
Everybody loves Social Security. Everybody loves Medicare, and he's killing them anyway. And I mean, the fact that they're telling Republican House members not to hold town halls is it tells you a lot about his voters. People voted for him hoping he'd screw somebody else, and he's like, no, I'm screwing everybody.
By the way, there's an election taking place in Florida, and if I'm not mistaken, a Democrat is like, Trump won that place by like 30 points, and a Democrat is winning in that election, which is a bellwether in regards to the public's appraisal of Trump. We'll see how the election turns out, but I think that the economy is going to tank. I think Trump's presidency is going to tank with the economy if it does, or if he attacks Iran, it's over. I think his presidency is over. We'll see. Margaret?
I mean, I don't know. Even if he does want to attack Iran, Israel has wanted the U.S. to attack Iran for years. That will be horrible and a very, very dangerous thing.
Agreed. But 1,000% agreed. We'll see. It's Iran's response that I think is going to be overwhelming, because they've been preparing for this attack for the United States for decades. Ever since the United States attacked Iraq, they have been preparing for this particular attack, knowing that at some point it was going to come. And I would imagine that they will have a response. And, at that point, it's unpredictable, right? Like if they hit the oil fields, if they hit Israel, if they hit the Strait of Hormuz, if they hit the tanks or the ships that are out in the sea nearby that are threatening them, oh man, all hell breaks loose. Like it is a very dangerous plan that Donald Trump is running with. It could be a bluff. If it's a bluff and they call that bluff, he's going to look incompetent. But we'll see. Margaret, thank you for this. I always appreciate talking to you. You're always so informative. Margaret Kimberley, senior columnist and editor for Black Agenda Report and author of Presidential, Black America and the Presidents. Where can people find you? I ask this question to people now because sometimes the bio is out of date. Margaret? Oh, I can't hear you. Are you muted? What's going on? There you are.
No.
Okay.
Now
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yes, blackagendareport.com. We publish every Wednesday. Black Agenda Radio every Friday. I'm on X at Freedom Ride Blog.
Very cool. You have a fantastic day. Thank you for this. I really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.